Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of IW. This is your results show coming live to you from Alexandria, Louisiana at the Parish Coliseum. I am the Mark, Matt Graves, joined as always by my cohort in crime, Tomas Devlin. How's it going, brother?
I'm good, bro. We're here in the deep south once again for
Central
the
Louisiana, how are you
for the
loving it
second
here?
time. Can't complain. Can't complain. Kind of, managed to take in the culture and uh, eat some of their finest delicacies. A bit of crawfish. I bet myself a bit of crawfish.
Yeah,
Good shit, bro. They love
I'm
their
glad you
seafood.
did. Glad you did. Of course, most people don't know that the Rapids Parish Coliseum was the home for Mid South Wrestling back in the day. Ted
Hmm.
DiBiase and Hacksaw Jim Duggan used to live walking distance because they didn't want to buy rental cars. They used to live walking distance and just walk to the Coliseum. So a lot of history in this building.
Oh yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
Jam packed tonight,
Agreed.
15,000 plus. Uh,
Well
what else can?
spaced out, uh, under over COVID restrictions. Nice,
Yeah,
safely distanced. But still jam packed.
yeah.
Nonetheless.
Well, only one thing to
Let's,
do, and that's let's get her started.
let's get her done. Let's get her done. And we have a fatal five-way match to determine the number one contender for the TV championship that is held by the unholy one himself, Darken Graves. We have Tony the Hammer Morrison, the Asian Badass, Kendo Blackheart, Shooter J, T-Bone Boudreaux, and the Extreme One, Chris Conley, in this match. And from the get-go, it was just being pure carnage, as you know from all Fatal Five Ways. Weapons do apply. It is an ODQ in
All
these
right.
sort of matches, and it didn't take too long for the weapons to be introduced in this match, and it was crazy shit. There was near falls after near falls, pin breakups. Shooter J hitting his finisher a few times. Boudreaux, uh, there was hit his finisher a few times. It was just brawling outside, tables smashed. It was carnage, bro. But at the pivotal moment of the match, um, uh, the Hammer tries
Yeah.
to go for his power bomb, the Hammer power bomb, but Chris Connolly, the extreme one, being the wily veteran that he is, he scouted that shit,
He
and
should have
he,
brought a hammer with him.
I know, right? It was allowed. I think he hit a few people with the hammer a few
Yeah.
times, yeah, and he he countered him, and he hits the X marks the spot, and he pins the hammer whilst everyone else were just brawling it out,
Yeah.
and becomes the number one contender for the TV title against Dark and Graves. So
Yeah.
your winner, Chris Conley, the extreme one.
I think everybody took their shots on the hammer. The hammer was decimated by the get go.
Well,
But
he had his licks in too. He had,
yeah,
he had his shots in too.
it just
They
wasn't
all,
enough.
I know, but they all kicked the shit out of each other. So
Yeah. Chris Conley did exactly what he said he was going to do. He and Darken Graves had words throughout the week, and Chris Conley said, "I do whenever I say what I'm going to do something, I do it," and he did it. So
well, he's a man of his word. So
looks like we're looking at the title match next week. So next up, we have the returning debut of the one and only Necro against the leader of Anarchy, Blake Williams. Blake Williams, who before the match wanted to dedicate the match to Hella Undead and again offer his sincerest of apologies. I don't know about you, Tomas, but I believe him. I think he's sincere.
yes, I
Uh,
believe him too. It's like
I
he
think,
said. It wasn't like him. Because we all know Blake Williams. He's all about cunning and stuff like that. But like he's never used to like sheer violence amongst women and all that.
right.
He's used to the violence against men, and I think it was. I wouldn't say it was an off day. It was just. It was just. Well, it was just.
We
It
all
was
have
just
our
unlike him.
we all have our bad days. He
So
be
like,
stepping in the ring with Necro tonight. Speaking of bad days, Necro
oh
coming
yes,
in full of piss and vinegar. This was a brawl from the get go. Not a whole lot of technical wrestling seen here. Blake Williams took the early advantage. Had Crow in the corner from a lot of the match, throwing elbows. Even hit a superplex off the top rope on Crow. That's not very often seen from Blake Williams.
No,
Blake
he
Williams,
really came out of the woodshed with this one.
right?
Doing shit that he never usually does, but
No smart aleck smirk on Blake Williams' face. He was all business tonight.
absolutely all
But
business.
it was Crow who would, in almost like Hulkamania fashion, hulking up. Crow would
Or
get that.
calling up.
Yeah, Crow would get that sinister grin on his face, and Blake looked like he thought he saw a ghost as Crow started laying into him, and Crow was nailing him with DDTs. Hit him with the Three Amigos. Crow landed off the top rope with a splash on Blake Williams. Picked up Blake Williams and put Blake Williams down on his knees. Blake Williams' referee's back was turned. Blake Williams hits a low blow, and as soon as he hits the low blow, Blake covers his face as if to say, "What have I done?" Which was a kind of another way of showing he's starting to feel. Seems like he's feeling compassion for his opponents, but Necro wouldn't. Necro got right back up, grabbed Blake Williams, hit the Kiss of Alice, and that was it. 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Blake was knocked out in a decisive win and an impressive match, but impressive win for Necro. Welcome back. And speaking of the devil,
he shall appear.
Speak his name and he shall appear.
I told you also. I told you also. I told you. Look into my eyes. Didn't I say that I would do what I did to Mr. Williams? Yes, he did put up a huge fight, and he showed me exactly how good he was. But it didn't matter how many times he hit me, how many times he tied me up like a pretzel. I didn't break. Now I'm down here in this boiler room, post-match in Alexandria, and I'm just thinking of what to do next. What's on the list of Necro? Well, all of you will just have to find out. As above, so below. I want all of you to think about that for a bit. I want it to stew in your brains. Until next time, everybody.
Well, that's some fighting words from Necro.
Certainly is. It's a scary thing.
As the crow calls.
Next matchup, we saw the debut of the very scary, speaking of scary, Madame Intoxica, along with her advocate, Angel Reborn, who we'll see more of later on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
She would take on Harley Zane in a match that probably will go down in the history books of IW as one of the most dominant and quickest matches I've ever seen in my life. The two would square off in the middle of the ring. Harley Zane looking like she didn't want to be there. Madame Tosca did, though. Irish whipped her to the corner, ran back, hit a big splash on the corner. Harley Zane was laid down on her back. Madame Tosca hits the ropes, hits a huge splash on Harley Zane for the 1, 2, 3. Won this match in under 15 seconds. Dominant.
I think they need to script Harley. I think Kevin needs to script Harley off from the mat. Man, that was devastating. That was like a king.
I'm sorry, Tomas. We got. It seems like there's all kind of action going on backstage. Speaking of Madame Tosca and Angel Reborn, let's go to the
What is so funny to you?
That punk ass Zane sat there and kicked you in the throat for smart mouthing.
I tell you, you would think that he would understand the only reason I was smart mouthing was because his pathetic excuse for a wife literally got tossed around like a rag doll. I mean, Veronica, I've never seen such a dominating performance in my entire career. Could you people not believe that? What are you looking at?
Who's that?
Who?
Her.
Oh, right there.
Yes.
That, my dear. Honestly, you make a case to want to be the woman that breaks the glass ceiling. That right there is the woman that got that close. If you wanted to be the one to do it, you would have to go through her. Her name is Kelly Steen. She's a Hall of Famer. And quite frankly, very dangerous.
Ooh.
What do you think about that, Tomas?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Madame Toxica wants a piece of Miss Kelly Steen.
That's a
But
name we haven't heard from in a while.
as you know, Kelly Steen had announced her retirement
Right.
last year and hasn't been in the ring since, but always has been backstage, supporting IW. But
Right.
will she answer the call? Who fucking knows? It's on Kelly's time, really. The ball's in Kelly's court, so
Right. I also want to point out that Madame Totska, she looks like she didn't break a sweat for that match
No.
with Harley.
well,
I got
as
more to-
much of a veteran Harley is, I don't think Madame Toxica hasn't been tested yet.
Right.
And we all know, like, Madame Toxica is a powerhouse beyond belief.
Right.
But every rising star always meets their rival or their match. Their equivalent.
I might, if I were her, I would be kind of cautious about calling out Kelly Steen so quickly.
Mm. But like I said, we'll soon see if she comes out of retirement or not. But
Only time will tell.
only time will tell. One-on-one match. Face the Fear member Bully O'Brien. Taking on Anarchy's Chicago Savage in a one-on-one match, and both men absolutely hate each other. They had barbed words this week.
This is a great match.
Oh, it was a fantastic match. It was. There was a bit of technical wrestling. There was a bit of brawling. There was a bit of everything in this match. Chicago Savage hitting 2-Pete on Bully O'Brien for a 2 count. Bully O'Brien using the Bully Bomb on
Right.
Chicago Savage for a 2 count. You know what I mean? It was. There was never like a break in the action. It was just
Till the end.
until the end, though. Until the end, where Anarchy hit the ring and started to distract the ring, and then start to distract the referee, and then Douglas O'Shea, who we'll see later on, comes out and tries to chase these guys away. But this gave Savage enough time to hit Bully O'Brien with a diamond-studded ring and just clocked him. And Bully goes down.
Out like a
And
light.
everyone piles out. The Anarchy piles out. O'Shea is yelling and hollering. The ref turns around at the right time and he's pinned him. 1, 2, 3. Chicago Savage wins. And
The numbers game.
O'Shea is irate, trying to plead with the ref, but the referee's decision is final. Bully is holding his head. He's pissed off too, but what can you do? But Savage gets his ass out of there as quickly as possible. But again, Chicago Savage is who win.
I have a feeling there will be a receipt coming.
Oh, for definite. You always, whenever you throw something like that, there's always a receipt coming. Only time will tell. And and the Faces of Fear Do not forget. We move on now to a triple threat match where we have the Irish Devil himself, Douglas O'Shea, taking on Anarchy's badass Billy Gore and EAP.
Douglas O'Shea didn't even have time to rest.
No, rest for the wicked in here. Now this was carnage too. There was Gore immediately going for weapons, got candlestick in hand, and starts wailing on EAP, and EAP he just they start fighting on the outside. They slam him on the barricades, puts O'Shea through tables. They just a lot of punishment to themselves. A few times EAP hit the ghetto blaster on the concrete outside.
That was brutal.
Gore hits the Gore Storm on EAP. O'Shea hits the he hits
the powerbomb.
Yeah, the powerbomb. The powerbomb on Gore. But it comes to the pivot of the match where O'Shea and EAP kind of briefly team up and kind of get rid of Gore by just like power bombing. EAP hits the ghetto blaster, and O'Shea gets him in the power bomb position, and they both like assist, do a power bomb assist out to Gore outside of the ring, and
Right.
then but like EAP spins O'Shea around, split second, kicks him, hits the ghetto blaster. 1, 2, 3. EAP wins.
Right. I mean, gotta give it up for Douglas O'Shea. He gave it his all. But
They all did fucking great.
he came
but
into
it was
that match
abysmal.
already, feeling some wounds from the Anarchy beatdown. But well deserved by EAP. Great job. Yeah, this is definitely not over between the Anarchy and Faces of Fear, I believe. Our next match saw a member of the Wealth, Thomas Marks, taking on Pitbull of the Black and Blue Crew. And right off the bat, it was very noticeable to me. I don't know, maybe it was to you, Tomas, that Pitbull just didn't look like he was into this match. He looked like
No,
something was bothering him. He just didn't look like the same Pitbull, and Thomas Marks took advantage of that. This match was
No,
all.
he just wasn't the same, man. He just
Yeah, it's sad
was
to see
off.
that. And Thomas Marks took full advantage of it, and this match didn't last long. I mean, Pitbull got a few moves in, threw a
Grand
couple
slam.
stiffs right. Yeah, he threw a couple stiff rights to Thomas Marks, but didn't seem to phase him, and it would end up with Thomas Marks hitting Regal Intensity, and that would be all she wrote for Pitbull. And Thomas Marks of the Wealth comes away with a huge victory in decisive form.
Mm.
So we'll have to. Time will tell what happens with Pitbull. I hope everything's going okay with him. I hope he gets where he needs to be. But tonight was all about Thomas Marks.
Yeah.
Our next match had Bubba Boudreaux against Angel Reborn, who we saw earlier with Madam Tatska. Angel walking down to the ring, still holding his neck from apparently a kick that Kevin Zane gave to him.
For smart than his wife, bro.
At the end of that match.
Yeah, man.
This would start off pretty hot and heavy. Bubba Boudreaux would splash Angel Reborn into the corner. We saw Bubba do something that we haven't seen him do in a long time, and that's go to the top rope for that one of those big splashes.
Ooh.
Angel was able to kick out.
Of course.
Angel tried some dirty tactics at one point, but picked up his Bible and tried to shove it in Bubba's face and started thumping that Bible. Bubba slaps the Bible out of the hands of Angel Reborn, slaps Angel in the face, and kicks him in the gut, picks him up, reality check brainbuster, Goes for the pin, but Angel kicks out. And you can hear Angel saying, "By the grace of God, I kicked out. By the grace of God, I kicked out." So Bubba picks him up one more time, and 2 times is the charm because he hits that reality check brainbuster once more on Angel Reborn, and that'd be all she wrote for Angel for tonight. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Bubba Boudreaux, looking very dominant and very confident. In fact, we have some post-match comments, and I think Bubba has an agenda.
I told you it was the inevitable, Angel, but you didn't want to listen. You wanted to try to thump the Bible and lay down your scriptures from the God Almighty above on me, and it didn't work for you. You asked God handed to you like I said it would. Now you are in the rear view, and I'm focused once again on the mission at hand. The mission is to keep laying bodies down at my feet left and right until I get what I'm owed, what I deserve. And that's an iWrestling Heavyweight Championship opportunity. And Nick Harrison, the professor, the man holding the championship warm for the beast from the bayou, mark my words. He's on borrowed time because the clock's ticking. Professor, can you hear it? Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock.
Wow.
Well, I guess we know what that agenda is, don't we?
Well,
Somebody wants to be a world champion.
well, you know, you hear from the preaching the same hymn sheet, but like, you know, he needs to get in line because, you know, there's a certain somebody that I know who has waited 5 years looking an IW World Heavyweight Championship match who has waited 5 years.
I believe I
Hasn't
know who
got
you're
one
talking
yet.
about.
So, you know, and he believes that he's owed that opportunity.
Maybe those two need to meet in the middle of the ring.
Technically speaking, if I'm being correct, he never was IW World Heavyweight Champion to begin with due to belt changes and as such. But time will tell.
Right. Time will tell. And Bubba Boudreaux, though, still looking dominant as ever.
He does.
We'll see what happens here.
Now, we come to a match which is surely a barn burner of a match if there ever was one.
Entertaining.
Oh, yes, really entertaining. It was, yeah. We have Showtime coming out every week complaining bitterly or just voicing his opinion how he wants a good
Back and forth.
back and forth wrestler,
Yeah.
and he got his wishes this week and
He
tonight
sure did.
in the form of the Welf's Adam Cage, the one half of the tag team champions, and by God, he got a run for his money because this match was a complete back and forth match. Cage being Cage took it to Showtime looking to show him what he's all about, and there was plenty of back and forth, near falls, spot the spotlight. It's been hit a couple of times to near falls. The Australian driver was hit a few times
Right.
for a few near falls, but the pivotal moment was where Adam Cage scales the top rope and he goes to go for the Southern Cross crossbody, but Showtime manages to counter it, roll, and catch him, and he manages to hit the spotlight onto Adam Cage, getting the 1, 2, 3, and the victory against a very game and dangerous Adam fucking Cage.
I have to say, Tomas, would you agree with me? This was definitely an upset.
I wouldn't say it was an upset because both men were very game. Both men were very, you know,
You know what I did notice about
focused.
it during the week when they were giving each other's promos.
Yes.
Each one was pointing out what the other one was going to say before they could say it, and it was
Yeah.
almost like that in the match. It was almost like they
Yeah.
were expecting what move was going to come before
Oh
they
yeah, it
could
was
deliver it.
it was clinical. It was clinical. They were trying. It was like chess, and its highest degree. It was great. It
Yeah,
was
it was an amazing match.
fantastic match. Nothing to take away from. Adam Cage is still the champion, as you know, still
Right.
in the wealth.
I'm
But
sure he's not hurting a bit.
he's not hurting one bit. But like Showtime getting the win, a victory over Adam Cage, which is nothing to be sniffed at. So there you
Right.
go.
Before we move on to the Hardcore Championship match, we got a word from our new sponsors.
16-bit arcade graphics. 16-bit arcade action. Does. 16-bit arcade hits. What Nintendo don't. The 16-bit Genesis system by Sega. Genesis does it all.
Watch it, boy. Don't get your clothes wet. Oh! Boy, you little...
Now at Burger King, The Simpsons, $3.49 each when you buy new mini muffins or any size fries. They give you The Simpsons for virtually peanuts. Sometimes you gotta break the rules.
Can't do this on Nintendo Genesis.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
back.
Sorry.
We're back. Sorry. Hardcore Championship match. This is one that everybody was looking forward to. I think it shocked a lot of people and scared a lot of small children in the Coliseum.
I don't know.
Zodicus defending.
I don't think the small children shouldn't have been there, man. This was not for the faint-hearted. But they were definitely covered. Their eyes were covered during this match, for sure.
Yeah. Zodicus defending his belt for the first time against a game Irish bastard James Park. I mean, talk about baptism through fire as your hardcore champion.
Both men have history with each other.
Yeah, they sure do. I believe it was James Park and Darken Graves that actually murdered Zodicus, I can say, I guess.
Crucified him, I think.
One poured the gas, one lit the match. I don't remember which, but
I think James Park nailed him, and then Graves sort of poured the gas and burnt him while it was happening.
It was a mess.
And then the one time where James Park was the only man to take the Riots Heavyweight Championship from Zodicus, so that stung a bit for Zodicus. Just a deep rooted history.
Chip on the shoulder in this one. It would start out hot and heavy, of course.
It was personal.
Zodicus would start off getting the upper hand on James Park. James Park would get busted open early in the match. So Zodicus with that fingernail, that metal fingernail, trying to carve an X into James Park's forehead, which from my vantage point, it seemed like everything Zodicus was doing to James was lighting a fire under his ass. Like
psychological.
Like a great white shark, you know, when the eyes roll over white. Zodicus, he would bring out a barbed wire baseball bat, hit Park in the stomach with it. Almost looked like it didn't phase Park, and Park would start coming back slowly but surely, and just start waylaying into Zodicus, started beating the hell out of him. In fact, to the point where he incapacitated Zodicus so bad to where he got out of the ring and pulled out. I haven't seen this since ECW One Night Stand. Terry Funk pulled out a piece of plywood covered in barbed wire spheres, laid it in the ring, laid Zodicus on top of it, hits that beautiful money shot, and the crowd's on their feet. Everybody, this is awesome. This is awesome. I was on my feet saying, this is awesome. The referee calls for the bell. We didn't know what's going on. It wasn't the end of the match, though. Security and medical attendants come out, and it takes about 10 to 15 minutes because they actually had to cut James Park and Zodicus out of the barbed wire. We thought they were going to be stretchered out, but no, both men got right back up to their feet and started brawling again. James Park still taking it to Zodicus. In fact, James Park, working on those injuries to the sternum of Zodicus after that money shot. Zodicus bent down in the corner. Park goes out and does something that just when you thought you seen it all, you ain't seen shit yet. He grabs a bucket from underneath the bottom of underneath the ring. I guess was filled with super glue, some kind of adhesive. Dips his elbow in it. Takes a bag of thumbtacks and pours it all over his elbow. Like instantly, all the thumbtacks are stuck to his elbow. Runs into the corner where Zodicus is kind of cradled down. Hits the gallows glass. Goes for the 1, 2, 3. Guy gets 2 3/4. Park was a madman here. He literally is almost like an out of body experience, I would assume. He was a completely different man. That's dangerous when he's a regular guy. But Zodicus proved that he knows how to take some pain. The match would brawl out into the public, out into the sea of people. They climbed up the stairs, up on top of the balcony.
They fucking scattered very quickly.
Yeah. The referee finally got him back down from the balcony, but Zodicus, something about that balcony. He kept looking up at that balcony.
Oh yeah, he was eyeing it up for a good while. So he was.
Right. He finally ends up taking that fingernail and jabs it in both of Park's eyes. Park couldn't see a thing for a minute. That gave Zodicus just enough time to set up 2 tables and gave Park a few right hands to the top of the head where he was already busted open. Sandwiched James Park in between the 2 tables. And Zodicus, I guess in his tribute to New Jack, went up into the cheap seats. If you've ever been to the Rapids Parish Coliseum, they have separating the balcony from the bottom is one steel blue bar, and it's
the nosebleeds.
It's circular. You really have to have your like a Sandman type of balance to be able to balance up there. Somehow Zodicus did it, and Zodicus from about 50 feet in the air jumps off that balcony, splashes through both tables, sandwiching James Park in between them. That was it. 1, 2, 3. In one hell of a gruesome match. So gruesome, in fact, that they had to take an intermission. The crowd had taken an intermission afterwards.
Yeah.
Both men were helped to the back, but they walked on their own 2 feet. They weren't stretchered out, but Zodicus held on here. But Zodicus, he took a beating.
But that's the match. You can tell from the match itself. This was just more than just for the W Hardcore Championship. It was personal.
It was personal. Yes.
It was a very personal, bloody match. I mean, it was almost like the 20-foot cage between Onions and Park, only without the cage. Only this was a regular death match, as it were. But both these guys left on their feet.
Yeah.
Both damn near killed each other, like they said they were gonna do.
I'm sure they're both sore as hell right now, and that's probably why we don't have any backstage footage from either one of them.
Yeah, because once the adrenaline and everything wears down, they're both gonna be hurting like motherfuckers, man. I'm telling you. Now we have the North American Championship match.
Looking forward to this.
We have the TGM, the Josh McLean, taking on the Doomsayer, the sadistic magician himself. And this was a classic match.
Yeah,
Classic
I knew it would be.
As both men know each other really, really well. And Josh McLean, being the wily vet that he is, cunning, he knew how to work around Doomsayer's size and ability. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat, folks. Uh, Doomsayer's a fucking unit. He's a beast. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He's a big lad. He's powerful. So McLean was able to use his in-ring knowledge and all that to get the big man off his feet a few times. He hit the unicorn driver on the big man, but the big man was using all his power, manages to hit. He manages to kick out of two of the Joshua McLean, and like he even tries to distract the ref. Yeah, Jen distract the ref, and he even tries for hitting him with hitting the Doomsayer with the title, but he just boots him in the face, which it didn't do him no good. So anyway, the Joshua McLean tries to go for the killer, the unicorn driver once again, but the big man just powered out of it and hits that devastating "Welcome to the Strange." 1, 2, 3, and we have a new North American champion, the Doomsayer.
Congratulations to Doomsayer. Well deserved, well earned. He's been one of the hardest working guys this season.
Referee hands him the title, and he raises his arm high, and uninterrupted. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. He's going to win the championship, and he's going to make the championship better. We'll soon see what he does. But yeah,
what a season for him so far.
He's been amazing, and not to slouch the previous champion, Josh McLean. He was really good too, champion too. He was a great North American champion.
He'll hold gold again soon.
I'm sure he will.
Sooner than later.
I mean, he was a former hardcore champion, and he was concussed. We know what sort of he's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
just wasn't his night.
Just wasn't his night. He was. He's facing Doomsayer, a very game Doomsayer. He was game too, but we have a new champion. So congrats again to Doomsayer, and I expect good things to happen for his run. So we'll see.
Coming up next, we have the self-proclaimed Commonwealth Championship as the champion of the Unfiltered Animal, taking on the Red Hot DCE, the Wicked Sin. These guys had a war of words this week that, Wicked Sin coming off of some big victories, including one over Ethan Carnage, but dealing with a whole different animal this week, no pun intended.
Oh, yes.
Grant.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered, yeah. Unfiltered Animal would walk down the aisle with a confident smirk on his face, a swagger.
Of course. He's a member of the Wealth. Why wouldn't he be?
DCE already in the ring. These two start staring at each other down.
Oh, yeah.
And the weird thing is they're smiling at each other. And I believe Unfiltered Animal kind of starts to chuckle a little bit before the fist starts swinging. And
that's a bad sign.
If
he's chuckling, bad times are approaching.
This match got brutal. Unfiltered Animal took the pace down a bit to a slow pace, methodical.
Oh, yes.
Using a lot of nerve holds, submission holds on DCE. DCE, of course, wouldn't give up. Unfiltered Animal hit that Death Valley driver, but didn't really get all of it. And DCE was able to kick out at 2. After the kick out, DCE started coming back, and Unfiltered Animal was trying to hit those shots to the ribs like he does. DC was blocking them. DC got his second win, and started putting the boots to Unfiltered Animal. And Unfiltered Animal had a slight look of worry on his face, but not for very long. He went for a swing, and he swung and a miss, and DC picked him up, put him on the top rope, and we thought we were going to see the death from above, that pile driver from the top rope, but that would not be the case.
No,
Because
absolutely not.
we see, all of a sudden, we hear the crowd erupt, and we see James Park, we see Adam Cage, and we see Thomas Marks run their way down to the ring, and they didn't take their time. They hit the ring, and all three of them
Mark's
just
still
started.
banged up after his crazy match.
They started beating the hell out of DCE. Referee rings the bell right away. This was an NWO / Shield type beatdown on DCE. Park was on top of DCE, just waylaying until his lip was busted wide open. Thomas Marks and Adam Cage hit a double power bomb on him, as Grant just sat there and just looked, just with a sinister look, almost like a serial killer would look. And
just a stoic look in his face. Just
finally, that stoic look turned into a smile as he said, "Get him up." And Park and Cage and Marks held DCE up. He's looking, and DCE surprised us all here. He looks up at Unfiltered Animal, as Unfiltered Animal smiling at him, blood pouring out of the mouth of DCE. DCE spits a wad of blood right on the chest of Grant Miller, Unfiltered Animal.
big mistake. Mistake, kid.
Grant looks down,
Mistake.
looks back up, serious look on his face, and then all of a sudden, smiles, takes that belt and runs and just takes DC's head completely off nearly. And we see Grant Miller standing over DCE, pointing in his face, saying, "Don't you ever try to take my title again, kid. Don't you ever think that you can step to me. I'm the Unfiltered Animal. You're nothing." And that was clearly heard. And the walk out together in unison, and DCE is carted off.
Shit.
So yeah,
Well, making a statement.
Kind of speechless about that one, and but someone who wasn't speechless about it is still your Commonwealth United States champion. Let's go to the Unfiltered Animal.
I told the world. I told the damn world there is not a cat in hell's chance that anyone can stand before the wealth and hold themselves within a hope in hell. Not Rocky T, not the Black and Blue crew, not some dumb kid called the Wicked Sin. That showed tonight. I proved why I am your reigning, defending, undisputed North American and Commonwealth champion. Adam Cage, give me that title. Let me show the fucking people. Because you guys are beautiful. You guys are dominant. And we, as a faction, as a unit, are dominant. To America. The reigning World Tag Team Champions. That's what we are. That's what we produce. Titles. Nobody is going to stand before us and honestly hold themselves anything near credible. We are the wealth. And we dominate the land of IW wrestling.
Wow.
Statement made.
Statement made. I mean, what else do you say?
What else can you say? The man speaks the truth.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. I think he summed it up right there.
In a nutshell, yeah.
He put the fear of God into a lot of people with that clip right there. I wouldn't want to be the next guy to face Grant Miller.
No. So, in this match, we have a grudge match of sorts, as both men completely detest each other after Frank Paul's debut. He, as you recall, he
cost the match with the Wicked Sin.
He cost Ethan Carnage the match against the Wicked Sin, causing Ethan Carnage to retaliate, and he did warn him. He did. And this is what culminates tonight, as Frank Paul and Ethan Carnage in this one-on-one, and folks, this was not a wrestling match.
No,
It
not
wasn't a
not
wrestling.
not by a
It
long
was a
shot.
fight. It was a fight. It was a fucking fight. Both men came in with closed fists. They were just hitting the clean shite out of each other. There was the feeling you could cut the tension with a knife. It was, yeah, it was thick with that. It was both men hated each other, just hitting with everything they got, closed fists, knees, everything, man. Carnage hitting the Kamikaze a few times onto Frank Paul. Frank Paul kicking out. Frank Paul hitting the
Transmission.
the transmission on trying to get that transmission onto Ethan Carnage, but Ethan Carnage having the wherewithal to get to the ropes and force the rope break, and like. Each time each man gets a near fall, Frank Paul was getting deeply frustrated.
Yeah, you can see it.
So much so that he storms out of the ring, gets a chair underneath the ring, and he tries to hit Ethan Carnage with the chair. But the referee manages to catch the chair off him and rip it off him, and he starts fumbling about trying to get rid of it. Whilst this was happening, Frank Paul gets into his tights, gets brass knucks, clocks Carnage in
Pulled
the
a Eddie
face.
Guerrero.
Oh yeah, clocks him with the brass knucks, throws the knucks out of the way, and Carnage was out. Carnage was fucking out,
Like a light.
and he pins him. The referee hadn't a fucking clue. 1, 2, 3. Frank Paul wins.
Frank Paul wins.
He kind of got sort of revenge for Ethan Carnage attacking him and putting him in the hospital. But
Boy, did
we-
Frank Paul celebrate like a pig in shit.
yes, he will. But you know for damn well, this ain't over. As
No,
you
not
know,
by a long shot.
Ethan Carnage will have a receipt for
Yes.
that there, and it may not happen now, it may not happen later, it may not happen tomorrow, but
It's not coming.
it will happen.
Just like the first attack, it'll come when he least expects it, I'm sure. Not a whole lot of wrestling matches. A lot of brawls, man.
Well, yeah, of
Except
course.
for the next match.
Yes, we have for the it was an on-title match for the first time ever. These two men ever meeting in a squared circle, and it's even more extra special because it is in Darken Graves's home state, which is it's just a hometown, yeah,
Walking
hometown
distance
even.
from his house.
Walking distance from Castle Graves itself. So you know Darken Graves is extra pumped for this match.
I've
So
never heard a
as
pop
the
like this in my life.
TV champion Darken Graves
But he had a hard task.
comes down to the ring and he has the loaded gun. Chad
Man who
Bartlett
is deemed
himself,
unstoppable.
who's been fucking on fire this week.
Yeah.
But both men, they lock up and they get the fists up. They start fighting each other. They start throwing bombs and shit like that. There was a bit of technical wrestling too. Darken Graves hits the Cradle of Filth that set out that pile driver, inverted pile driver, cradle pile driver onto Chad Bartlett a few times for near falls. Chad Bartlett hits the Nagasaki 1945 on the Graves, and it was very fucking close, very inch stuff, man.
This match was exhausting.
Oh yeah, it was fucking exhausting. The crowd were on their feet; they were pumped.
45 minutes.
Oh yeah, 45 minutes. And at this point, both men were fucking fatigued and everything like that. And Chad Bartlett manages to get Darker Graves' advantage. He goes to hit Nagasaki 1945, but Graves manages to counter it and hits the Cradle of Filth onto Chad Bartlett, and he has him in the pinning position, and the referee stops 1, 2, 3, and the people were in shock. The people were in shock that even Graves was in shock. He manages to win over Chad Bartlett. Like,
He thought he did. That's and that's what we neglected to tell you. The referee looked at the replay, and it showed that Chad did get the shoulder up right after the Cradle of Filth.
yeah.
So the match would restart.
Yep.
And it would end up Chad Bartlett going once again to pick up Graves. But once the match restarted, he picks up Graves, and Graves gets him in a small package.
Oh yes, of course, I forgot about that. He gets him the small package, and that's where it's the 1, 2, 3, and yeah, he gets the win. Jesus Christ!
Dark Graves defeated Chad Bartlett. I'm in shock over that one.
So am I too. I think everyone was in shock with that one, man.
The crowd was on their feet. Dark Graves' his sister and his mother was at ringside. Big moment for him. Biggest win of his career, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, where does this leave Chad Bartlett? We don't know.
I'm pretty sure Chad Bartlett will still be Chad Bartlett, just kicking ass and stuff like that. I don't think this would phase Chad one bit. I mean, he can pick himself up and he's a straight shooter, man. What else can I say? He'll be okay. But this was
what a match! 45 minutes.
This was a big victory for Graves, though.
4.5-star match.
Chad Bartlett definitely. They both kicked ass, man. It was fantastic to see.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if that wasn't going to be hard to follow, these two guys tried, and we have the Macarthur Drive street fight. Macarthur Drive is the biggest street in Alexandria. It's it makes a circle around the whole city. Anywhere you want to go, the mall, Walmart, any kind of stores, restaurants, you have to get on Macarthur Drive. So everybody who lives in Alexandria knows what Macarthur Drive is, and it's a very dangerous street, very dangerous road, lots of heavy traffic. So I guess that's the reason why interim GM Graves made this a Macarthur Drive street fight. Thomas Austin, Jack Arson. Last week we saw Jack Arson doing a dastardly thing, blowing intoxicating crystal methamphetamine smoke into Thomas Austin's face.
Yeah.
We knew that this was gonna come back to haunt Jack Arson. This was another. We go from a wrestling match to back to the brawling.
Yes.
Jack Arson would take advantage early. He would use Betsy on Thomas Austin.
Of course,
try to take out the legs of Thomas Austin. But Jack, from the get go, noticing walking down the aisle really fast, sweating profusely before he even got in the ring, we knew something was up with Jack Arson. And I will go ahead and divulge this iWrestling exclusive, no pun intended again. I went to the back and I was trying to get an interview with Dark and Graves after his match before Jack Arson was making his way down to the ringside. And I saw something in his hand. Now, I can't prove what I saw, but I saw a cigarette lighter and I saw something that looked like a piece of glass up to his mouth. And whenever I asked him for a comment, put the microphone to his face, he said, "Get the hell out of here, Mark," and turned the other way. So
that was the end of that.
Don't know. I know what I think it was, but anyway, so Jack was very kind of all over the place in this match. He had the upper hand on Austin at first, but it started to grow very tired, very weary, huffing and puffing. He was trying to scream at Austin, couldn't scream because he had lost his voice. They even had the paramedics check on him for just a minute to make sure he was all right because he was stumbling around. He was very dizzy, still able to fight, still able to put up a good fight.
Oh yeah, he was good to go. He was just
Because Austin was
it's
having
just a bit blurry on it.
yeah, Austin was having a tough time because his legs were taken out at the very beginning by Betsy.
Yes.
But the the end of the match would happen when Jack Arson kind of stood toe to toe with Thomas Austin, and Jack just collapsed in the middle of the ring, and he's trying to crawl back up. He's crawling up, holding on to Thomas Austin. Thomas Austin looks at him and shakes his head no like that. Puts him in the anaconda asphyxiation.
Aspirator.
Anaconda aspirator. Thank you for that, Tomas. I'm sorry about that.
The anaconda aspirator.
Anaconda aspirator. And Jack fought like hell.
Oh yeah, he fought like a fucking terrier, bro.
Think WrestleMania 13, Stone Cold and Bret Hart. How long Stone Cold was in that sharpshooter. That was about the amount of time Jack Arson was in the anaconda aspirator. And finally, we see Jack screaming, and then silence. Jack had passed out. The referee didn't even have to raise his hands. The referee pulled Thomas Austin off of Jack, and the winner due to referee stoppage was Thomas Austin. Jack Arson was in a bad way. He got stretchered out. We did get word, Sharon. We did get the final. Yeah, Jack Arson was suffering from dehydration. He had gone without a lot of nutrients in his body, and he did indeed fail a drug test for crystal methamphetamine. So it's a shame. Jack worked his ass off this week. I hope he truly gets the help that he needs because he's a great athlete. And,
I'm sure he'll pull through.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll pull through.
But
he still kicked ass out there. It's just
yeah, his body gave out on him.
Yeah,
his body turned his back on him, and we hope he gets the help he needs. And that was the end of that. What? This is not the time for that. I do not know how your panties got caught in my ceiling fan, but you gotta get them the fuck out of there. So, I'm sorry about that. To take away from this show, this show is a bloody massacre for the most part. Alexandria.
Yes, I absolutely agree. We had Chris Conley become the #1 contender for the TV championship. We have Chicago Savage beating Buddy O'Brien. We also had EAP beating Douglas O'Shea and Billy Gore.
We had destroying Harley
Madam Toxica destroying Harley Zane in her debut match. We had
Bubba Boudreaux with a new agenda.
Yes, we had Bubba Boudreaux taking the win. We also have Thomas Marks decimating Pitbull.
Yeah.
We had Showtime getting a big win over Adam fucking Cage. We had
Zodicus and James Park in one of the most brutal matches ever to be seen on IWTV.
Since we also had the Unfiltered Animal retain his championship. Well, by disqualification. DCE won that match, but title can't change hands.
Grant definitely asserted his dominance.
He asserted his dominance in the wealth interplaying. We had Frank Paul beating Jason Sanders. Yes, beating with dirty tactics with the Iron Knocks. Yes.
At the end of the day, it's a win.
We had Dark and Graves win against Chad Bartlett, which is
shocked the world.
Shocked the world, crazy. And we had the main event, the Thomas Austin getting the submission win on Jack Arson, passed out by referee stoppage.
Yeah, and
Passed
that's
out.
it's kind of sad that the main event ended in somewhat of a I would call it somewhat of a tragedy.
It was.
Not the way you want a main event to end.
No, but
Um,
you can't
but
help
both-
these things.
But they smell like smoke because they went through hell.
Hell yeah, they both went through hell. Everyone went through hell. So yeah,
So the bruises will be felt all week long, and
for sure.
now David Jones is back off vacation. So who knows what's going to happen this week? I guess you'll have to tune in next week to the results show. Tomas, any last words here?
Not really. No, it's been great. Been brutal this week in terms of matches. Great matchups, great activity, great promos, everything. It's everything that you want to see in IW, and IW being 5 years strong and keep on going. So
Yeah.
it's great.
I
It's
think
good stuff.
the Mid-South Wrestling boys would be very proud of the Rapids Parish Coliseum. I think they brought back
Absolutely.
some of that good old vengeance and brutality. So
I'm sure, yeah.
for Tomas Devlin, I'm the Mark Matt Graves. We will see you next week. Good night, folks.
Yeah. Good night, folks.